Good day, everyone. The paper I'm going to present is entitled The Emergence of Fourth Industrial Revolution, Impact of Digitalization and a Hyper-Connected Workplace on the Competitive Advantage of Company X. The age of the Fourth Industrial Revolution is knocking on the doors of the current generation, which stems from steam engines to electrical power to automated production. Different platforms have now been introduced in businesses and in the markets such as artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, smart factories, cyber physical systems, digital platforms, and more. The introduction of the fourth industrial revolution or Industry 4.0 caused a shift, which is a profound impact on traditional businesses. These businesses are faced with new innovative ideas, which are called digital frontiers. With digitalization, advances in information technologies are within reach, competitive levels of businesses are propelled, which in turn helps in increasing their productivity and the profits. The study basically seeks to address the primary question: does hyperconnectivity mediate the impact of digitalization and competitive advantage of the company X? The study was conducted at a Filipino-owned company referred to as Company X, which is an assortment of cherished and loved brands that have brought delight to the Filipino people since 1945. It is the largest casual dining restaurant company in the Philippines. Its portfolio consists of homegrown and international brands. It also operates three Metro Manila-based commissaries that service all of its production, distribution, and storage requirements across all brands. Currently, its network has expanded to 673 stores, 91.83% of which are found in the Philippines, and the rest have reached the global market. And in 2017 annual report, the Filipino-owned firm moves closer in achieving the goal of having over 1,000 stores. Guided by the magician model by Barron and Kenny, the study seeks to address the following questions. Does the adoption of digitalization bring about the competitive advantage of the firm? Next, does the adoption of digitalization contribute to the hyperconnectivity in the workplace of the firm? Third, does hyperconnectivity in the workplace helps increase the competitive advantage of the firm? Fourth, does digitalization or do digitalization and hyperconnectivity both lead to competitive advantage of the firm? And finally, does hyperconnectivity mediate the impact of digitalization on competitive advantage of company X? Careful investigation and analysis of these questions can certainly help management of organizations to intensify the effects of digitalization through adaptation of the advancement brought forth by the digital age and by applying new platforms in order to relay information in an efficient way through a hyper-connected workspace as it gives birth to productivity and profitability in the business. The key concepts and construct alongside the connections that capture the whole idea of the study is visually represented by its operational framework. The framework involves a list of all variables of the study, namely digitalization, hyperconnectivity, and competitive advantage, which were prudently measured using the constructs adopted from various sources. The operational framework shows the relationship of the independent variable, the mediating variable, and the dependent variable of the study. The independent variable digitalization was measured by using the measurement of AOE based on the 5 dimensions, namely development of organization, building a digital organization, development of building or business models, establishing agile methods in product development, and building a flexible IT infrastructure. The mediating variable here, hyperconnectivity, was measured through collaborative forecasting, production planning, logistics planning, and online ordering. Finally, the dependent variable competitive advantage was measured based on Porter's approach to competitive advantage. Fate, Dumal, and Agrawal suggest 5 factors, including price or cost, quality, delivery, dependability, product innovation, and time to market. The study formulated 5 hypotheses which were designed to address the research questions. First, digitalization can predict the level of competitive advantage. Second, digitalization significantly influences hyperconnectivity. Third, hyperconnectivity significantly influences competitive advantage. Fourth, digitalization and hyperconnectivity significantly influence competitive advantage. And finally, digitalization mediates the link between hyperconnectivity on competitive advantage. Now, for research methodology, the study utilized a mixed method research design. The quantitative data analysis was measured using a 5-point Likert scale. The study adopted the Barron and Kennis model, including the steps to find the causal and mediation analysis of the variables. The model seeks to determine if hyperconnectivity mediates the link of digitalization on competitive advantage. Now, to carefully validate quantitative factors or findings, qualitative data were collected and analyzed through interviews with the company's CEO and expert from IT and business specialists. Items of research instruments were adopted from various literatures, including AOE for digitalization, Fredet et al. For hyperconnectivity, and Thate, Dumal, and Agrawal for competitive advantage. The questionnaire rather, was divided into 3 parts: digitalization, hyperconnectivity, and competitive advantage. A 5-point Likert scale was prepared in gathering the needed data. Now, homogeneous purposive sampling techniques was utilized in the study. The goal of the purposive sampling based on Erikan, Musa, and Al-Qasim is to not randomly select units from a population to create a sampling size, but to focus on particular characteristics of a population that are useful and interesting that will best answer the research questions. It is essential for this study, since it is a mixed method design, to incorporate the homogeneous types of purposive sampling, since respondents are selected based on their having similar characteristics or knowledge in the study. A total of a sample size of 204 were polled, consisting of top and the middle managers with 95% confidence level and a 5% margin of error. Multiple linear regression analysis was conducted to confirm whether or not the theorized dimension emerged. Mediation analysis based on Barron and Kennis model was performed to test the existence of mediation hypothesis. Again, the model seeks to determine whether hyperconnectivity mediates the link of digitalization and competitive advantage. Now, the study also used the content analysis in order to assess or evaluate the data collected through interview. And the qualitative data were collected, analyzed uh, using this approach, and the study applied also pattern matching method of assessment to validate the data obtained from both qualitative and quantitative data. Now, additionally, the study evaluated the consistency of the data gathered using the follow-up explanation model adopted by Creswell. And this model is a collection of quantitative data that is in the form of a survey, while the qualitative data that is going to be obtained through interviews, which consists of open-ended questions. Now, this particular visual shows the summary or different steps involved in conducting the causal or establishing mediation based on Barron and Kennis model. First step is to run a simple regression analysis with digitalization as the predictor and competitive advantage as the criterion variable for path C. The next step is to conduct a simple regression analysis with digitalization as the predictor and hyperconnectivity as the criterion variable for path A. The third step is to conduct a simple regression analysis with hyperconnectivity as the predictor and competitive advantage as the criterion variable for path B. Finally, the fourth step is to run a multiple regression analysis with digitalization and hyperconnectivity as the predictors and competitive advantage as the criterion variable. For the results, based on data among 212 respondents, 45 people were in the age range of 20 to 30 years that comprises of 21.23% of the total population of the company. The largest group among the following lies within the age range of 41 to 50 years, which comprises of 31.13% with 66 respondents. The second largest group is within the age range of 31 to 40 with 65 respondents. Lastly, there were only 36 respondents in the age of 51 and above with 16.98%. Based on the management, employees between 45 to 50 years of age are more preferred than other brackets or age group, mainly because they believe that these people are more matured enough to handle work. They also have a prior experience with the work and can be said to be more knowledgeable on how the responsibilities should be addressed. Now, moving on, majority of respondents, which comprises of 43% of them, have been part of the company for 5 to 10 years. Meanwhile, 40% or 40 of them rather, or 19% of the respondents work for 11 to 15 years. Also, 38 of them work for 16 to 20 years, and another 38 of the respondents work for 21 to 25 years. Lastly, two respondents have been working for the company for more than 30 years. According to the management, they prefer rather employees who have prior experience with either the same line of work or a former job under the same industry wherein it is believed that they may contribute significantly to the organization. Although this is true, the company is open to accepting fresh graduates as well. Since the company has been present and somewhat established in the food and restaurant industry, they already have established a strong culture wherein the younger group of employees have a healthy and open relationship with the senior employees. Now, for hypothesis the one, based on Barron and Kenny's model, the first step taken was to administer a simple linear regression analysis with digitalization in predicting the competitive advantage of the firm. The results revealed a significant regression equation since the p-value is less than 0.05. According to Koch and Winsberger, the usage of digital technologies into products, services, and operations are important in organizations on how the company can achieve and sustain competitive advantage. Furthermore, digitalization changes the nature of products, the process of value creation, and the firm's competitive environment. According to the network centric view, the firms can achieve competitive advantage by shaping the digital environment and by value co creating the interconnectedness of the company in the digital era. Now, for hypothesis two, the path involves a simple linear regression analysis with digitalization in assessing the level of hyperconnectivity. The results revealed a significant regression equation with a p-value that is less than 0.05. Now, according to Larry, this is measured with an increase of digitalization, the increase in the usage of digital interconnection of people anytime, anywhere will shape organization system. Since hyperconnectivity happens through digitalization, the Internet of Networks, people, things, machines, and computers, enabling intelligent operation using enhanced or advanced data and analytics for transformational outcomes to redefine the landscape for individuals and organizations alike. For hypothesis 3, to test if the mediating variable hyperconnectivity significantly affects the dependent variable competitive advantage, a simple linear regression analysis was conducted. The findings revealed a significant linear regression between hyperconnectivity and the competitive advantage for the company with a p-value that is less than 0.05. Pereira and Medina underscored that the physical world and the digital world are likely to become strongly linked to one another. Mobile technologies and the convergence of information allows individuals to convey and deliver knowledge and messages to one another regardless of their location. According to Jung, hyperconnectivity is the basis for strategy in creating value in the eyes of business stakeholders. The more hyperconnectivity is enhanced, the faster it will be for the company to gain its competitive advantage since it will strengthen the power of the contents of the organization. For hypothesis of 4, this step involves a multiple linear regression analysis with competitive advantage as the response variable, while digitalization and hyperconnectivity are its predictors. A significant regression equation was found in conducting a multiple linear regression analysis with digitalization and hyperconnectivity as the predictors of competitive advantage since the p-value is less than 0.05. According to Loser et al., the systems and the digital technologies the company would create would be hard for its competitors to imitate since there are security protocols. Moreover, a company that has an automated system and the fast communication enable their organization are well managed and well equipped with the resources that could lead to a firm's competitive advantage. Now, for hypothesis 5, to determine the significance of the mediation, the study used Barron's and Kennedy's mediation model again, including the steps to find the causal and mediation analysis of the variables. Now, on my left side, these are the following conditions that must be met to satisfy the mediation. Step 1, the independent variable, digitalization, must significantly influence the dependent variable competitive advantage in hypothesis 1. In step 2, the independent variable digitalization must significantly influence the mediating variable hyperconnectivity in hypothesis 2. In step 3, the mediating variable must significantly influence the dependent variable competitive advantage in hypothesis 3. And finally, in step 4, the effect of independent variable digitalization and dependent variable competitive advantage should be significant to establish a completely mediating variable in the hypothesis 4. Now, if all of these steps are met, then there's a full mediating effect. However, if the first 3 steps are met, but the fourth step is not, then there is a partial mediating effect. Based on the findings, all 4 steps are met, then the data is consistent with the hypothesis that hyperconnectivity completely mediates digitalization and competitive advantage. On my right side, it shows the findings or the result. The findings here show that all conditions satisfy the 4 steps of Barron and Kenny in establishing mediation. According to the study of Chi, Zhao, and Li, digital business strategy is one kind of effort in business or in the firm level strategy that can influence the utilization of digital resources and capability. At the same time, hyperconnectivity is in the functional level. Digitalization strategy is the starting point to execute and develop hyperconnectivity through the means of digital technologies. According to the said authors, hyperconnectivity within stakeholders can improve information sharing and reduce coordination costs of the firm. Accordingly, hyperconnectivity will enhance the competitive advantage eventually. Now, based on the qualitative data through interview with the CEO and the other business specialists, it shows or it found out that digitalization is basically in place. Digitalization and continuous product digitalization is utilized to attain information and increase the development of the firm. It also shows that hyperconnectivity has helped the firm in the development and creation of faster modes of communication. In the said approach, it also shows that products are set at a certain price that its customers see value to what they are buying. Additionally, there is an existing quality management system that is in place to ensure the delivery of quality and the standard products in the market. Now, in the said approach, it also shows that there's a constant and continuous product development, which is a priority of management, including the trends that are being studied to be able to come up with innovative products. Now, based on the result of the quantitative data, it shows that hyperconnectivity mitigates the impact of digitalization on competitive advantage of the company. Now, based on the qualitative data, it shows that the company uses a database management system called Oracle, which facilitate the checking of inventory, sales, feedback, and the like in their daily business operation. It also makes all transaction faster, which gives them the edge against other competitors. Now, on the last segment, the key recommendations based on the result of the study include: number one is to maintain and upgrade the use of database management system in the company's operation because it facilitates the checking of inventory, sales, feedback, and the like. It also makes all transactions faster, which gives them the upper hand compared to other competitors. Through the use of DBS, management can see the level of inventory across all brands without the managers of the specific brand notifying them. Also, decline in sales and customer feedback can be seen in the said system, which is of aid to head office in making decisions to solve the said problems instantly. Another key recommendation is to integrate more technology in the firm's daily operation because it it gives efficient monitoring system like the use of Bluetooth temperature to safeguard food safety and ensure equipment are operating in good working conditions. Another key recommendation is to generate and distribute a digital weekly schedule to all employees through optimized schedule makers or scheduling software which is capable of monitoring sales and staffing budgets to reduce overtime and ensure profitability. It was observed that restaurants using scheduling software have up to a 2% reduction in labor cost. And then finally, the study or the research also recommended that the firm to initiate the first mover advantage. It is believed that it would allow the company to establish a strong brand recognition, especially when the product would fit all the sub-variables of the competitive advantage. And this ends the presentation for this paper. Thank you for listening.